You're gonna give me the name of the man who killed my family. I'd let him go. Now. You do not want to f with me. Yeah, I do.
Today on Rewind, a closer look. We're rewinding One Tough Bastard, a 90s action flick starring Brian Bosworth, where you just know going in that someone's about to get pushed way too far. It's got military training, shady deals, street-level crime, and a whole lot of this guy should not be messed with energy. The boss is here doing what the boss does best, looking intimidating, hitting hard, and carrying that quiet storm vibe like something's always about to explode. But is this one of those hidden 90s action gems, or just another movie coasting on attitude and a badass lead? Let's find out. The movie opens with the credits rolling over the boss just running through the desert mountains like an absolute machine. And right away, eagle noises. Lots of eagle noises. We're already at 2, so yeah, I think I'll start an eagle counter. As he's doing this full-on Rocky training run, there's a kid at the top timing him with a stopwatch. And during the credits, we also get one of the funniest names I've ever seen, Dewan Guy. Like his parents just forgot to name him and went, good enough. The boss keeps climbing, jumping rocks, scaling cliffs, the whole deal. And when he finally hits the top, he yells, "Time!" and runs over to the kid, who turns out to be his daughter. They hug, he spins her around, and immediately I'm like, yeah, this is a bad sign. Big tough action guy being happy with his kid. You know what that means. This kid is not long for this movie. They sit down. She's asking if she can come back next weekend. And I'm still trying to figure out, come back to the mountain or her parents split up and this is some kind of visitation hike. Eagle screech.
Look.
Number 3. And number 4. Then she asks if him and her mom are getting back together. And I'm calling it right now. If this movie follows the rules, they'll patch things up just in time for everything to go horribly wrong. She hands him a ladybug for some reason, no idea why, and he tells her, yeah, they'll get back together. Just fully committing to getting this kid's hopes up, without even checking with his ex first. Also, how did she even get up this mountain? Did Boz make her climb it alone while he went for a run? Did he hike up with her, then just go back down to just run up again? I'm definitely overthinking this. Anyway, they wrap it up and he says he'd better get her to school, which raises even more questions because how early did they start this whole mountain adventure? They head back down and get another eagle screech. 5. And he tells her mom will pick her up after school. And just like that, we've been officially introduced to the boss, and the movie's already throwing up every possible red flag. We cut to an army base where recruits are getting put through basic training, and guess who the drill sergeant is? Yep, the boss. We learned his name is Master Sergeant John Knoll, and he's just not barking orders, he's also their hand-to-hand combat instructor. And then we get a full-on montage of him absolutely wrecking these recruits. Takedowns, knife fights, stealth kills, neck snaps, the whole package. Basically, the movie just wants to make sure we understand one thing. The boss is a badass.
I'm an American badass. Watch me kick.
Later that day, school's letting out, and his ex is picking up the kid. They drive off, and she mentions that she's got some errands to run. So they stop for gas, and in the background, we see an army guy handing off some ammo crates to some guys, loading it up in a truck. Nothing suspicious there at all. Back with our family, the mom's pumping gas while the kid's outside kicking a ball around in the gas station parking lot, which already feels like a bad idea. The kid kicks the ball over towards the ammo deal, and one of the guys is on the phone, confirming everything's going down. Meanwhile, back at the base, the boss tells his recruits to fall out, and they all collapse like they just survived war, while the boss hasn't even broken a sweat. Back at the gas station, the deal wraps up, and the guy on the phone tells the boss to pay the army guy. So he does, with a bullet to the chest. They stuff the body in the trunk, slam it shut, and the kid saw everything. Inside the station, Mom's paying for gas, and we finally meet Hank, played by MC Gainey.
Hulk Hogan, dope. Hulk Hogan. I was doing a movie with Hulk, and we were getting ready to do the fighting part. And I didn't know. I said, I guess you know how to do this fake fighting pretty good. And he goes, hey, brother, don't say that, brother. He put his hand around my shoulder like, I didn't mean fake like that. That hurt.
And the kids run in just as the goons walk through the door. She hides. They tell Hank to put the phone down and then just shoot him. Then they shoot the mom, just like that. Didn't even get her name. R.I.P. Mom.
In the arms of the angel.
The head goon grabs the kid, and right as they're about to leave, a cop rolls up. He barely gets out of the car before getting lit up and forced into cover. He calls for backup, and somehow, backup just shows up instantly. Then we cut to the boss, just cruising along the road in his Jeep, singing to himself, completely unaware of what's going on, until he starts approaching the gas station and slows down. Inside, the goons are arguing, getting more and more nervous. The kid's still alive, thankfully, and outside, the boss spots his ex's car. He pulls over and just starts walking straight towards the chaos, no hesitation. One of the cops yells at him to stop, somehow knows who he is, but he just keeps going. Inside, the goons see him coming, stop arguing, and the head guy just shoots him in the side. He drops, grimaces, and just gets back up and keeps walking like it didn't even happen. He walks inside, sees his ex on the floor, and now it's on. The goon grabs the kid, and we get another random eagle screech, bringing us to 6. And the boss tries to reason with him, offers himself instead, but that goes nowhere. So he goes hands-on, takes out a couple of them, even uses their own guns. But eventually, the head goon gets the drop on him and just shoots him, and we fade to black. When we come back, we've got 3 guys walking up to a house, and leading the charge is Bruce Payne.
Don't hurt her! Then give me the rod!
Long hair, full villain energy right out of the gate. They knock on the door, pretend to buy some blow as cover, and then immediately bust in. Turns out the guys inside are AWOL soldiers who stole a stash of military weapons, and Payne wastes no time. He shoots one of them in the leg with a shotgun and starts asking where the weapons are. One of the soldiers tries to warn him that there's a heavy hitter coming later to pick them up, and he's not gonna like this. Payne doesn't care. He steps right over the coffee table and puts him down. He moves on to the next guy, who says the weapons are useless without the special ammo, and Payne's response is just more gunfire. He chambers another shell, asks the last guy the same question, gets nowhere, and blasts him too. Problem solved. But then they hear a noise in the hallway, and suddenly another group storms in and starts grabbing the weapons. Payne just sits there, completely calm, like he's waiting his turn, and then casually asks what they're doing. They say they're stealing the weapons, and he's basically like, yeah, so am I, but I was here first. He even tries to negotiate, offers them the drugs if he can just take the weapons. But when they say no, he just quick draws and wipes some of them out as he leaves the room. This guy is on another level. The boss is waking up in a hospital, and the doctor tells him he's been in a coma for 8 weeks.
8 weeks?
8 weeks. The doc asks what he remembers, and we get some flashbacks to his wife. He starts losing it and then just kind of passes out again. Okay. When we come back, he's still in the hospital and an army buddy is there visiting him. The boss is frustrated because nobody will tell him anything or let him see his daughter. And his friend finally tells him that his daughter's barely alive. We cut to her hospital room and the boss is just sitting there at her bedside, completely wrecked. The doctor comes in, tries to comfort him, and then just shuts the machines off. And that's it. She's gone. And honestly, yeah, that's a rough one. Then we cut to a prison, and here's the twist. Payne isn't just some psycho, he's an FBI agent. Of course he is. He pulls out the guy responsible for the murder of the boss's family, and the guy's complaining it took too long to get him out. Payne's basically like, you're lucky I even bothered, explaining he had to convince the U.S. attorney they needed this piece of garbage to take down some guy named Dexter Kane, who we've never heard of until right about now. The guy keeps whining, even tries to quit, and all of this is happening right in front of some random ice cream vendor who's just standing there listening to them casually talk about guns, murder, and federal deals like it's nothing. Payne's had enough, kicks the guy straight in the balls and drops him. Basically tells him he doesn't get to walk away. You killed a kid. You do what I say or you're heading for the gas chamber. And then he just leaves him there with the ice cream guy who could absolutely blow this whole operation wide open. At the boss's daughter's funeral, the priest is going on about turning the other cheek and how vengeance belongs to the Lord. And yeah, the boss is not buying any of that. He just walks out mid-service. No speech, no scene. He's just done. Then we're at a federal building where the boss is trying to get answers about the guy who killed his family. The woman behind the desk tells him that the FBI pulled the guy from jail and sealed all the records, because of course they did. She tells him if he wants answers, he will need to talk to Payne, and hands over his info. Then for some reason her kid shows up, randomly asks the boss if he's ever killed anyone. Okay. And then the kid just leaves. And now we've got this awkward little conversation where she's talking about her kid is only 12, but already knows the streets like a gangbanger. And the boss starts asking about the kid's father. And it's like, dude, your whole family was just murdered. Maybe not the time. Anyway, she reminds him to go talk to Payne, so that's exactly what he does. The next scene they meet, and the boss immediately asks him why the guy who killed his family is under FBI protection. Payne gives him the classic no comment, tries to shake his hand and walk away, but the boss doesn't let go and pulls him back. He makes it very clear this is personal. Payne explains the guy's a part of a bigger case, and one of Payne's guys chimes in with that sometimes we overlook small crimes to catch bigger ones, which, yeah, calling the murder of his family a small crime does not go over well. Payne tries to clarify, saying that they're after some drug lord named Dexter Kane who's trying to buy military weapons, and that's the real target. The boss asks if the guy's out on the streets. Payne dodges, starts to leave, and that's when the boss snaps. He throws one of the agents aside, grabs Payne by the throat, demands a name, guns get pulled on him, and he backs off. They exchange some choice words, and that's that. For now. Then we cut to the guy who actually pulled the trigger, and we finally learn his name is Marcus, and he's played by Jeff Kober.
You steal, you kill. I know that sounds a little funny, but nobody laughs when something goes missing. And you don't lie. Oh, we catch a beating. The severity of which depends upon the offense and the general attitude of the day.
Meeting with Dexter Kane, who's played by MC Hammer. Yeah, let that sink in.
You can't touch this.
Marcus is trying to make a quick deal. He wants to move some drugs so he can get out of town, which really means he wants to run from Payne.
Robin ran away. No! Bravely ran away, away.
I didn't.
Hammer's giving him the whole family is everything speech, while Marcus is just trying to keep it together and get what he came for. Mid-conversation, Hammer's goons drag in some random guy they found at a park. Don't ask. He drop him to his knees, throw a plastic bag over his head, and just choke him out there, like it's background noise. Hammer doesn't even flinch, just keeps negotiating, and eventually agrees to give Marcus the drugs. One of the goons opens a box that conveniently had exactly what Marcus asked for, hands it over, and just like that, the deal's done. We cut to a kid just walking down the street when an older kid rolls up and straight up shoots him over his shoes, just like that. The kid we met earlier at the federal building walks around the corner with his friend, sees the body, and they actually know this kid. So now we've got this whole side plot popping up. I'm sitting here like, this better go somewhere. We cut to the boss just leaning against his car at the beach for no reason whatsoever. He's watching people like he's got nowhere else to be when he spots a kid buying drugs. And the second he sees the bat logo on the kid's shirt, boom, light bulb moment. It flashes him back to Marcus and that bat tattoo on his neck, and now we've got a connection. Marcus is sitting on a porch, and he's handing our kid the package of drugs he got from Hammer.
Can't touch this.
So, okay, that's how this all ties together. Marcus tells the kid to head down to Compton, trade the blow for some smack, and then come straight back.
Not a great plan.
If I just saw the guy I borrowed drugs from kill a guy with a bag, I don't think I'd be trusting a child to transport said drugs for me. The kid, to his credit, demands payment up front, and Marcus reluctantly hands over some cash. Meanwhile, the boss hits the streets, going from tattoo shop to tattoo shop, looking for whoever did that bat tattoo. We get a full montage of him just walking around the city until he finds the right place. He asks about the tattoo, and instantly the vibes change. The sign gets flipped to closed, and Robert Lasardo's in there, telling him Marcus is a friend. Anything he's got to say to Marcus, he could say to them. And that's when the boss goes full boss, stabs Robert's hand with a tattoo gun, throws another dude out the window, dodges a bat swing, slams a guy just right through a door, and just wrecks everyone in the place. He walks back over to Robert, calmly asks if the message got through. Yeah, I'd say it did. And when the guy's a little slow to answer, he turns on the tattoo gun while it's stuck in his hand. Turns out they don't actually know where Marcus is, but they do say he came in for 2 more teardrop tattoos and was talking about military weapons. The boss asks what the teardrops mean, and when he hears it for people you've killed, yeah, one for his wife, one for his kid.
Emotional damage.
And just to keep things going, we cut back outside where a kid is now buying himself a little kid-sized gun. He's waving it around like he's already made some bad life choices, and then he walks off like this is all going to end well. The boss gets a call from his army buddy, who says he couldn't find anything on Marcus, but he did find out Payne is under internal investigation and might be dirty. And now the boss connects the dots with what little info he has. Marcus is dealing military weapons, Payne might be dirty. So yeah, those two are probably connected. He asks his buddy, who he now learned the name is Alan.
Alan! 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 Alan!
If he can track down Payne's address. Alan says he'll try, and then they hang up. Cut to Payne's apartment, and the phone rings. The voice on the other end says he understands. Payne is in the market for some guns. Payne's like, yeah, no, who is this? And it turns out it's the boss. So I guess Alan came through with that number real quick. Payne asks him who told him that, and the boss drops Marcus's name, which immediately makes Payne scribble down a note to kill Marcus, just casually adding that to the to-do list. Boss sets up a meet, gives him a time and a place, and tells him to bring cash and hangs up. Payne grabs a stack of money and heads out. But the second he steps outside, a bunch of cars pull up and Hammer's guys jump out with guns. He's got no choice but to go with them. And while all that's happening, the boss just sneaks into Payne's apartment and starts digging around. Eventually he finds an FBI bulletin about stolen experimental military weapons, just laying in the trash like no one thought to shred that. Meanwhile, Hammer's absolutely laying into Payne about not delivering the weapons he's already paid half for, 50 grand up front. And now he wants either the guns or his money back. Payne tries to play it off, says the cops took everything. One of Hammer's guys puts a gun on him, but Payne keeps his cool, slowly takes the gun right out of the guy's hand, then just hands it back like, hey, maybe don't kill me if you want those guns. Somehow that works. Later on, the boss meets up with another army contact who explains the weapons crate that was stolen uses special ammo that never even arrived. Except some of it was found at that same gas station where his family was killed. The boss asks what's so special about these weapons. We immediately cut to him firing one at a Jeep, absolutely shredding it. Okay, yeah, that answers it. Over at Marcus's place, he's on the phone with the guy the kid was supposed to meet, saying the kid never showed up with the drugs. And yeah, Marcus is not happy about that. Down at the beach, the kid is hanging out with his friends, showing off and letting them hold the drugs, then lifting his shirt to flash his little gun like he's already deep in the game. Then he suddenly yells at someone to mind their business.
Mind your business, that's all. Mind your business.
And of course, it's the boss. He's just sitting there watching them for no reason at all. The friends scatter, the kid moves on, and just as he's about to hop on a bus to Compton,
I'm coming straight out of Compton.
he spots the kid who killed his friend. He's even wearing the dead kid's shoes. Yeah, that's not going to sit well. So instead of getting on the bus, he follows him, tracks him down to some sketchy alley couch, confronts him, pulls out his little gun, tries to fire, but immediately the boss steps in and stops it, forcing him to miss. Boz tells the other kids to get lost and tries to question Mikey. But Mikey bolts, and the boss just snatches his bag off him mid-run. He opens it up, yep, drugs, and Mikey's gone. Later that night, Payne comes back to his apartment and finds it completely trashed from the boss's little search party. And yeah, he is not happy. Meanwhile, back at the boss's place, he's getting out of the shower. We see the scars from where he got shot. Those healed insanely fast. There's a knock at the door. He answers it, gun in hand, and it's the kid. Yeah, that Dewan guy from earlier. Still a wild name. He wants his bag back. Boss gives it to him, minus the drugs. The kid asks for them, and the boss somehow already knows his name, calls him Mikey like they've been friends for years, and tells him he'll get the drugs back if he spreads a rumor for him. We cut to Mikey doing exactly that, telling people he's connected to some military guy with special ammo. Eventually, later that evening, some dudes show up pressing Mikey for info, and I'm pretty sure these are the same guys Payne already shot at earlier, so apparently nobody stays dead in this movie. They ask about the ammo, and Mikey starts to negotiate a meetup. We cut to later that night. We're back at the boss's place. He's asleep, having nightmares about his family, and suddenly there's a gun pointed at his head. Of course he wakes up and grabs it, and it's Mikey, now with a different gun somehow. No idea where he got that. And the boss doesn't even seem concerned. He just gets up, washes his face like this is a normal Tuesday, and Mikey tells him about the guys asking questions about the ammo rumor he taught him spread. Inside the boss's car, he finally lays out part of his plan to Mikey. He doesn't actually have the special ammo, but the guy he's hunting thinks he does, so now he's going to draw him out. They roll up to the spot where Mikey was told for the meetup. Boz tells him to stay in the car, and I'm already hoping this doesn't turn into a cop and a half situation.
They're two cops learning to meet each other halfway.
That was just like Miami Vice.
Burt Reynolds, and introducing Norman Golden II, cop and a half.
What are you?
I'm your worst nightmare.
Boz grabs a big duffel bag to sell the illusion, walks into the building, spots the weapons crate just sitting right there, and he drops his bag. One of the guys checks it. Nothing but junk. Yeah, they're not thrilled. Guns come out. Boz pulls out a phone. For some reason, they just let him make a call. Okay. He pretends to dial 911 and asks for 5 ambulances. Great. Solid dumb one-liner. And then it's on. He grabs 2 of their guns, makes them shoot each other, drops another guy charging him. He swings his duffel bag into someone else, kicks another across the room, and when one last guy comes at him with the carjack handle, Boz just shuts that down and snaps his neck. Done. Meanwhile, Mikey's outside, trying to break into the trunk looking for his drugs. He gives up, walks inside, and finds a room full of bodies, and the boss just calmly packing up the weapons crate like it's just another day. And yeah, the kid's kind of impressed. They go grab some burgers and have a little heart-to-heart, with Boz telling Mikey going after the kid who killed his friend won't bring him back, which is rich, coming from the guy doing the exact same thing. Even Mikey calls him out on it. The boss basically hits him with the do as I say, not as I do speech. Mikey shrugs it off, asks for his gun back. Boz refuses, says he'll protect him instead, and Mikey fires back that without it he's defenseless and he's going to end up dead just like his friend. That one actually hits. Boz kind of zones out for a second, and by the time he snaps back, Mikey's already gone. Next, we're at a baseball game, FBI versus the DA's office, and Payne and Marcus are having a casual meeting in the stands. Payne asks about the weapons deal. Marcus says the guns got jacked by Hammer. Payne doesn't buy it for a second, launches his hot dog right into Marcus's face, mustard everywhere.
Pardon me, would you have any Grey Poupon?
Basically tells him if Hammer actually had the weapons, nobody would be alive to even talk about it. Later that night, they track down one of the guys from the earlier gun deal at a gas station. They throw him into his car and start questioning him. Payne lights the tip of the gas pump like he's about to roast the guy alive. Asks again where the guns are, and the guy cracks. Says some army guy and a kid named Mikey, and that's all Payne needs. He torches the car and just walks away. That same night, Mikey gets grabbed and brought to Marcus's place. No idea how they found him. No idea why the boss wasn't keeping an eye on him. But there he is, and sitting inside, Payne. He just stares at Mikey for a second, then suddenly rushes him, drags him into the bathroom, and dunks his head straight into a conveniently pre-filled bathtub while pointing a gun at Marcus like, don't even think about it. He pulls Mikey back up and tells him he's going to set up a meeting with the boss for him. The next day, Mikey's mom is walking home with groceries and sees the boss just sitting on her steps to her building for reasons unknown. She sits down, starts unloading all her worries about Mikey running the streets and how she's scared he's not going to come home one day, and the boss just listens. Like, yeah, you're not going to mention the part where you're part of the problem? Also, how did he even know when she'd be there? Why not just call?
It doesn't matter.
We cut to Mikey sitting by a pond feeding ducks.
I said beat it! Mutants.
Again, no idea how, but the boss knows exactly where to find him. He walks up, asks if Mikey's okay, and when Mikey doesn't answer, Buzz actually apologizes for dragging him into all of this, which, hey, character development.
No way!
Mikey then tells him he knows where Marcus is, and just like that, we're off. The boss rolls up to an abandoned building, pauses for a second as he gets these weird auditory flashbacks, and then just heads inside where Marcus, Payne, and a couple of his guys are waiting upstairs. Boz walks in, and Payne looks genuinely surprised to see it's him. Boz gives everyone a chance, says if they want out, they've got until the count of 3 to leave or they're getting hurt. Marcus thinks this is hilarious, still hasn't realized who he's dealing with, and asks where the guns are. Boz starts counting. 1, 2, and Payne and his guys just get up and leave him alone with Marcus. Like, yeah, we're good. Marcus is confused. Boz reminds him what he did, and Marcus throws a spray paint can at him and bolts. And now we've got a full chase through the building, shooting, running, the whole deal. Marcus heads down the stairs. Boz cuts him off using the fire escape and is already waiting outside when Marcus bursts through the door. The boss trips him, sends him crashing to the floor, and now the boss has him dead to rights. Guns up, flashing back to his family, deciding whether to pull the trigger, and of course, Mikey shows up. And right on cue, Eagle Screech. That's number 7. Buzz tells Mikey to leave. He struggles with it. Another Eagle Screech. Number 8. And the boss finally decides not to shoot. Immediately, Payne and his guys roll back out. They grab the boss, and Marcus takes off running. Payne's annoyed, says now he's going to have to kill Marcus himself, and they drag Boz over to his car. Payne shoots open the trunk, somehow knowing exactly what's in there, and there's the weapons crate. No idea how he knew, and no idea why the boss even brought that with him, but okay. Payne grabs one of the guns, thanks Mikey for all the help, and then smashes Boz in the gut with the rifle. He drops. The goons start kicking him, and just as one of them goes in for the kill, Payne actually stops him like, what are you doing? Which is surprising. Instead, he tells them to load Boz into the car, and they drive off, leaving Mikey behind, who immediately grabs his bag of drugs back out of the trunk. Marcus is back at his place, desperately trying to buy himself 24 more hours from Hammer's crew to get the drugs back, and somehow they agree, but before immediately grabbing him and just dragging him off anyway. Later that night, 2 bike cops pull over a couple, and surprise, it's Hammer's brother. He insists he's got nothing to do with his brother, and the cops are like, we know, and then we see it's Payne in disguise, and just like that, Payne and his guy open fire, killing Hammer's brother. Then we're out of jail where Mikey's visiting the boss. Okay, apparently Payne just dropped him off there, which, sure, why not? Mikey tells him Hammer has Marcus. He's supposed to bring the drugs or they will kill Marcus. Boz says, Marcus is the one who killed my family. Mikey's like, yeah, okay, I understand, and starts to leave. But Boz reconsiders and agrees to help him once he gets out, saying they can't hold him for longer than 24 hours. Mikey gives him a time and a place to meet and then takes off. Payne goes to deliver the weapons and ammo to Hammer.
You can't touch this. You can't touch this.
Acting like everything's business as usual, even after having his brother killed. One of the goons warns him Hammer's in a bad mood. Payne plays dumb, demands payment anyway, and after a quick nod from Hammer,
you can't touch this.
He gets a stack of cash. And as he's leaving, he spots Marcus chained up in another room begging for help, and Payne just smiles and keeps walking. Outside, he heads straight to a car where, surprise, Neil McDonough is sitting.
Will I win? Will I win? Will I win? Win, win?
All right, let's go.
Oh. Yeah.
Listening in. Payne was wired the whole time, so apparently his plan involved killing Hammer's brother as bait, delivering the guns, and recording everything? Okay. Still kind of a mess, but sure.
Not a great plan.
Back at the jail, the boss is being moved by Payne's guys, who suddenly hit him with new charges about the stolen military weapons and trying to sell them, saying the DA wants to prosecute. Boss is like, but I have somewhere to be. And they're casually like, yeah, you can be there in about 20 years. We cut to Mikey sitting alone on a swing, casually checking the drugs like he might have forgotten he still had them. Then he just walks off to meet with the boss. Back at Hammer's place, Marcus is uncuffed and told his guy better show up by 2:30 or he's done. Meanwhile at the jail, Boz pulls the classic, I gotta take a piss move, and even better, you're gonna have to help me with that. He gets uncuffed and immediately elbows the guard in the face.
I can't believe you fell for the oldest trick in the book! What a goof! What's with you, man? Come on!
He fights his way out, disarms a knife like it's nothing, slams the guy's head off the railing and then the wall before knocking him down some stairs. He snaps his arm for good measure and just walks out of the jail like he was only there to pay a parking ticket. Outside, he grabs a cop's gun, steals the guy's motorcycle without even needing to start it, very convenient, and takes off. And now we've got the boss flying down the road on a stolen police bike with cruisers chasing him. He could have just hailed a taxi and escaped no problem, but no, that's not the Bosworth way. All the while, Mikey's standing on the corner, nervously waiting, holding the drugs, hoping Boz shows up in time to help him save Marcus. Back at the baseball diamond, the FBI and the DA game is still going on. Or maybe it's a whole new game. Who knows? Payne is actually pitching, and his buddy Neil is batting. Suddenly a bunch of cars roll up, and Hammer's crew jumps out, opens the trunks, and starts handing out military weapons like it's the 7th inning stretch snacks. One of them yells that the cops killed Hammer's brother, so now they're here to kill cops, even though this is technically an FBI and DA game, but yeah, tomato tomato. They make it all the way onto the infield without anyone noticing, which is impressive considering there are players in the outfield. But then they open fire, nobody gets hit because, surprise, it's all a setup. Everyone on the field pulls guns, cop cars flood in, and it turns out the goons were using blanks. Payne yells, "Move and you die," and one guy does the exact opposite, and suddenly it's a full shootout. The boss is still tearing through the city on his stolen bike, and somehow every cop chasing him just kind of crashes. So he just escapes clean. Back at Hammer's place, Marcus is seconds away from getting plastic bagged when there's a knock at the door, and it's Mikey. He walks in, drops the drugs, and saves Marcus, for now. Hammer cuts open the bag, checks it, and we're just waiting for the reaction. The boss rolls up to the meat location Mikey gave him, but of course, Mikey isn't there. So he just calls dispatch and casually asks for Hammer's address. Sure, why not? Back at the apartment, Hammer finishes testing the drugs and realizes it's rat poison. Marcus grabs a gun, shoots one of the goons, and turns it on Hammer. But then Payne walks in, shoots one of the drug packages for for some reason. Marcus immediately backs down. Payne says he's arresting Hammer for buying weapons to kill law enforcement, and just shoots him anyway and calls it resisting, which he absolutely was not. Then Payne turns to Marcus and Mikey. He shoots Marcus, tells Mikey he doesn't usually kill kids, but hey, plans change. And right on cue, the boss kicks in the door, gun drawn. Finally it clicks. Payne was behind everything. Marcus was just the weapon. Payne grabs Mikey, puts a gun to his head, says if the boss shoots, the kid dies. Boss fires back with, you can't pull the trigger without a head, but he still doesn't shoot. Payne backs out onto the fire escape with Mikey as a shield. Heads up for the roof, and Boz takes the stairs up after him. Up on the rooftop, Payne tosses Mikey aside and unloads both guns at Boz. Sparks flying everywhere, even off of Boz's leg at one point, because apparently bullets just bounce off this guy. Payne somehow fires way more rounds that those guns should hold. He eventually runs dry, grabs Mikey again, heads toward Boz's last position, but surprise, he's gone. Payne actually reloads, start counting to 3, hits 2, pauses, and then pulls the classic parent move,
2.5!
and Boz pops out. Disarms him mid-shot, tosses him down, and then tells Mikey to run. And now we've got the final rooftop fight. Payne throws out a few more low blows about kids on life support. Boz tosses his gun aside for a fair fight. Payne immediately pulls a knife, because of course he does, and they go at it. Boz just rips a pipe out of the roof and smacks the knife away, cracks Payne in the jaw, and throws him into a trash can.
Garbage day!
And the two just beat each other down across the rooftop. Payne grabs a board. Boz uses the trash can as a shield, takes a hit to the leg.
I tried once, and it didn't work.
Rolls out of the way of another, and they keep going until they end up at the edge of the building. And just like that, Boz just tosses him over. Payne goes flying. Great stunt, rope and all. And Payne crashes straight through a piano in the restaurant below. And that's the end of Payne. We wrap it up with the Boz and Mikey playing basketball on the beach, like everything's totally normal, and the credits roll. This was actually kind of a decent movie. It's got a little bit of heart, a great villain, and believe it or not, an actual B-plot that ties into the main story. That alone is kind of rare for movies like this. Bruce Payne absolutely carries the villain role, just chewing the scenery every time he's on screen in the best possible way. The whole Marcus and Mikey relationship, though, never really explained. And Mikey being that upset when Payne shoots Marcus kind of comes out of nowhere. Also, what exactly was Payne's plan here? He sells Hammer the stolen weapons just so he can kill them over those same weapons and look like the hero? Is it basically the arson firefighter strategy? Start the fire so you can get the credit for putting it out? And we gotta talk about the eagle screeches. 8 times. 8. Someone made that choice. I don't know why, but I respect the commitment. Now, I've only got a couple gripes. One, there's not really a ton of action, and when it does happen, it's over pretty quick. And 2, the boss doesn't have a mullet. But honestly, those gripes are pretty minor. I had a great time with this one, and let's be real, I never get tired of watching the boss just be a badass.
I'm an American badass! Watch me kick!
So let me know what you thought. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next episode.
Hold up. Hey.
I thought you were going to torture him.
I don't have time for that shit. I have spent the last 36 hours snorting whiskey, drinking smack, and shooting cocaine. And Visa is breathing down my neck because my shitty day job just isn't paying the bucks. Now.
Which are you, a lawyer or a cop?
Kid, I am the cop. Federal agent.
Sooner, boom, sooner. Rock homer, rock homer, rock homer. Okay, you